Yeah, nice hat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jake, darling, it's the Oscars.
It's our Oscars show. We had like big plans for our Oscars extravaganza, and then life got in the way.
It's the Oscars, darling, nonetheless.
What got a lot to talk about, needless to
Needless to
say.
say,
First of all, I made a steak just like perfect just now, and I'm really happy with it. So it's
I
on
love a good steak.
it's on hold, but it's incredible.
Oh
Just
no, but it's not going to be perfect if you wait for the whole pod.
no, I
Just
got like I'm more than halfway done, but
okay.
just 5 minutes on each side with like medium heat, medium to high heat. And I always put too much oil. I did like the right amount of oil, just salt, nothing else. Perfect.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Super
And
good.
just I see that you have the cast iron in the back.
Yep. Still hot.
Oh, I mean, we could have a probably a whole pod about steak as far as I'm concerned.
All right. We'll have Catazone on for that one. He's a big steak guy.
Nice. I we don't need to have Salt Bay. I really don't ever want to hear about Salt Bay ever again. And I know that I just brought it up.
I don't like that guy. I think he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And I always thought he was an idiot, but when he like grabbed Messi at the World Cup, he just turned,
No, that was enough.
you don't touch Messi. And
Too much.
yeah, no.
Yeah. So as far as your life is concerned, besides our Oscar review that we're about to have
Right.
and the amazing steak you just made, clearly,
Um,
how's everything else?
Fine. We just got home. I got a new suit for the big day memorial.
Nice.
Um, did that.
That's very exciting. Wow. Good for you. Really going the distance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what kind of suit did you get?
Just a blue suit.
It's so hard to find good clothes for men, I feel like.
I know.
Does anyone have any suggestions? Please DM us.
We did Men's Warehouse because they had like a decent price on a blue suit. And
Yeah.
our guest today, I had a blue suit that I didn't love, and I
Yeah.
still wear it all the time. But when he got a kitten, probably 6 or 7 years ago, let me remember the name. Yeezy, Kobe, Michael, Jordan, Bryant, Jenkins, I think.
Are you being for real?
Yeah. Um, we might see Yeezy tonight if
That is
our guest grabs him.
phenomenal.
But he put a little like two little snags on my suit pants when he was a little kitten. And so it's always bugged me that my pants have these two little spots. So it was nice to get a new blue suit after like 7 years of seeing Yeezy's
Yeah.
snag marks on it. So
Shout out to Kanye West new line, everything's $20. It's kind of freaky, kind of weird.
yeah, I still haven't
Kind
listened to
of
the
weird.
album. I'm holding out.
I'm
I
kind of
don't want to go
holding out
there.
on that.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
not
know if I
holding out.
can.
I'm just like choosing to not, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe leave them in the
Well,
past a little bit. I don't know. Maybe our guest will have some thoughts on that as well. But
yeah. Yeah.
fully like
Jeremy
get
always loves it.
into Oscars and all
Yeah.
things art. Maybe we can get Jeremy in here to help us.
Jeremy, welcome, Jeremy.
Jeremy, are you there? Is Yeezy there?
Where's Yeezy?
I
Oh,
am here.
oh
I
my
am here.
gosh. A little bit of an
Good,
Oscars.
good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening. Good evening, Governor. Good evening, Governor.
You look
Uh,
good. How you doing? You look like a snowboarder.
I
Yeah.
like to snowboard from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our listeners are very up to par on Jeremy Jenkins things. So add that to the list.
Oh,
Yeah. I
Snowboarder.
mean, you're like the most regular of our
Hmm.
people, I
I
feel.
will listen. This pod has changed my life. So I mean, I'm I'm glad to be here once again because like
He
there's
has
just so much
Yeezys
going
on.
on, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got Yeezys on right now because of the success.
Literally,
You have Yeezys, don't you?
he's looking at you as I mean, you said his name a couple times. He's like, they're
I mean,
talking.
just get him. Just get him. I need to see him now. I need to see Easy.
Easy.
I feel like if you grab him, he's gonna bite your head off.
Can you imagine if Jeremy
Well,
like tried to
Zuri
grab
comes over.
Easy?
Zuri comes over whenever I call
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Zuri's like, no, I'm here.
I'm actually the one.
Zuri's like, I'm the one that you want to see.
Well, our listeners would never know. So you can
There's
kill
Zuri.
him.
Zuri. Hi,
Oh
Zuri.
my God, what a cute dog. How adorable.
puppy.
Oh, okay, he's actually quite the star of the night.
Like, no,
He's very
she's a
cute.
bomb. She really is the bomb. She's like, she's great. We just took her for a walk. It was so gorgeous out today. So
Yeah, we had a nice day. Nice day
we
here.
appreciated it.
Yeah, the weather has been phenomenal now that it's not
Yeah.
disgusting out,
Yeah, that's for sure.
right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good week. It's gonna get cold next week again a little bit, but it's a good
Yeah.
week.
yeah.
Hey, speaking about snowboarding, Killington got 11 inches of snow like 2 days ago. So
Really? Wow.
yeah, when we got that rain, when we were getting that rain a little bit and stuff, yeah, they were
Yeah.
getting hammered with. So
Wow.
Vermont is still very much in the.
Did you see what's happening out west with like
Yeah.
Tahoe, and
That
Yeah.
looks insane.
they're getting like feet of snow every
Like, wasn't that the one that the line was like they had to like basically tell people like this is like maybe you could die, but if you want to go ahead and go,
Yeah.
you can.
yeah. And
That was
And-
crazy.
20 years
Yeah,
ago, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Jake's like, I used to do that all the time. Yeah, that was exactly what we did.
Jake was actually the person that was like the snowboarder, like trying to knock into people and be like, oh, sorry, but then like go right past them. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he
I
was
just can't wait
exactly.
to shred. I can't wait to shred the white gnar.
Yeah, it's exactly him. It's him.
That's funny.
But it might be
bad.
Jeremy now because Jeremy's look tonight is so that guy too, you know?
I'm very
Jeremy-
relaxed. I'm in a relaxed
very
mood.
relaxed. He's very relaxed. He's chilling.
Jeremy Shreds.
Jeremy
Oh.
shreds.
That's the name of the episode. Jeremy Shreds. All right,
Just
we
like
got
that.
it.
I love it.
I feel like it comes to us whenever
Oh,
like,
it's
it
so
just comes
natural.
at some
So
point.
organic. It's
Yeah.
so organic.
Jeremy
Okay, are you
Shreds.
drinking a bourbon or what?
I am drinking a bourbon. Matter of fact, I'm drinking High West.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
a
it's a good one.
fancy boy.
I have
He's
a nice one. I have High West. Really good. It's actually just their regular bourbon because they have the
Okay.
Rendezvous Rye, which is really good if
Yeah.
you're into ryes.
yeah.
And then they even have the Yippee Ki which is like
Yeah.
next level.
I've never had the Yippee Ki before.
I've had it. It's good. It's smooth.
Would you say that you would use what you're drinking for an old fashioned, or would you be like, no, let's not mess it up with another element?
You can do an old fashioned with this. This would be a really good old fashioned. It'll have a lot of flavor to it.
Okay. I was just curious.
I have a bourbon. I do have a bourbon for mixed drinks though. It's a little bit stronger. Jake, I think you had a little sip of it. I brought it over. Fat Baby bourbon.
Oh
Happy.
yeah.
Fat
The
Baby.
best kind
Yeah.
of
A buddy of mine. He during COVID started his own bourbon company, and obviously
called?
it takes
Is it
years.
called Fat Baby?
It's called Fat Baby. Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name?
Yeah, let's
His name is Josh Mahan. Actually, he would be a really good guy to get on the pod.
get him on.
Yeah,
You
he would
need
be
to
a really
come
good guy.
on.
I have all the swag. I have a Fat Baby hat. I have a Fat
what?
Baby
He's got
shirt.
merch. The
They got
dude's
merch.
merch?
Swag.
Really
Your
cool
swag up.
website.
Man,
Okay. He's on
Jeremy's
another
swag.
level.
All right, we're gonna tag him,
You need
and
to
then we're
do
gonna.
Jeremy and him and Darren. You need to do the taking care of
Oh.
yourself bourbon because Darren would freak out.
All
I
right.
actually think that's a fantastic idea. I think we should have a bourbon night pod. A bourbon
That should
night
be like
pod.
a. Are you not taking care of yourself pod?
I know, right?
Whiskey.
Oops.
And in the bourbon night, we have to drink every five. We have to make sure that we're drinking the bourbon. Like
Yeah.
Every time that
walking.
someone says bourbon, you take a sip of bourbon.
You take
It's
a
a
sip of
bourbon
bourbon.
podcast.
it's a bourbon.
So Needless to say.
Oh, here's a question. Jeremy, you've said like since like recently that you wanted to start a pod like with Dan
That
and
would
Matt.
be sick.
Yeah, well, I like sports, obviously. I'm a big, and in New York, it's a melting pot, but there are strong opinions for the New York teams.
Right.
And I would love to hear some of those strong opinions in a podcast form. That's kind of what my idea has been, but obviously sports related. So
Yeah.
I'm a Knicks fan. We're getting to be around playoff time. Jake,
Ooh.
we'll be watching games together. That's without
Yeah.
a doubt.
For
You know,
basketball, I'm in for sure.
yeah,
I miss like
basketball.
going to the Bernards and watching basketball and all that.
Yeah, it's like
Do
as
you
soon as
like
April hits, it's
basketball,
like
Jeremy, the best? Do you like Jake likes basketball? Do you like basketball or are you like all sports?
so. I thought about this actually. That's a really great question because I do
Do
like
I like sports or am I a man forced into this mold of sport?
so I
Also, why I
do
like this is every time we've had him on to talk sports, we end up talking about pop culture. And then tonight we were going to talk Oscars, and we're talking sports.
no, we'll get there.
This
I
is
think we're
no,
gonna
no.
get
This is
there.
perfect. This is perfect.
We're
Is
gonna
it
get
called
there.
the
Oh, I love
Jeremy?
it.
What's it called? The Jeremy effect?
Jeremy
Jerry
Shreds.
Shred. Jerry Shred.
Jeremy shreds, man. You
So
cannot control him.
what's crazy
Cool.
about this is I have thought about this for a while because I do like a lot of sports. Obviously, the major sports I like basketball, football, I like baseball. Jake has actually gotten me into soccer, which I appreciate. So I'm watching it more and more. I still want to be able to understand more. I haven't fully picked a team yet, but I am watching more his team. He likes Liverpool. So I
Liverpool.
watch that sometimes and I keep up on the scores.
That's a map of Liverpool right there on the wall.
Awesome.
So instead of having like a banner or something, we just have like a real black and
Liverpool
white.
map.
Yeah. Ashlyn, shout out
Why
to
not?
Ashlyn. She got that for us.
Oh, that's great. Shout out Ashlyn. So I thought about it, and the way I look at my fandom is how angry do I get when my team loses?
Oh God.
Using that criteria, I realize
Tells you.
that I am a bigger basketball fan than anything else.
More than baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have a quick story about all three of the sports. I'm born
Go
in the
for it.
Bronx. I'm born in the Bronx. I literally lived for the first 8 years of my life 3 blocks away from Yankee Stadium.
Right.
So
Okay, so that wasn't you starting a paraphrase. That was you being for real.
I'm dead serious.
Okay, I thought you were like
Like,
giving us a little moment where you're like, just picture this.
Picture this. I'm born in the Bronx.
Bronx, 8 years of my life.
The Bronx.
He just starts the Bronx Tale story.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
grew up an
Those times.
Italian. I grew up an
Picture me.
Italian boy.
yeah. In the
Robert De Niro
Bronx,
was
my
eating
dad.
my mama's spaghetti. We're like, Jeremy, this is not correct.
So I'm a Yankee fan. So that is for sure. I love the Yankees. I love baseball. I think baseball is an amazing sport. I think it's one of the hardest sports to actually play.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Everyone says, oh, they're not athletes. No, they're actually crazy athletes.
I'd
They're,
like to hear more about that at another point.
Yeah.
For sure.
and then I got into basketball because of I'm going to be 40 this year. That means in the 90s, I grew up with Michael Jordan. So everyone doesn't like basketball was becoming very popular
Okay.
at the end of the 80s into the 90s with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird coming into Michael Jordan, and then it just
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
So I was a basketball kid. I was a basketball kid. And
That's why, or that's how it started.
I think that's how it started. And it got crazy pretty quickly because
I just
I almost burned my house down.
I
But
literally was gonna say tell a story about how you almost burned the house down.
Oh, okay. I am so excited. Okay, let me.
Picture
let me
this.
get
I don't want to
a glass of
derail.
wine. I'll need
We're
a
gonna,
Yeah,
wine.
you're gonna want
read-
another glass of wine for this.
Let me
you're
get
gonna have to
wine.
pour something for this one.
Okay, all right, Pino, give me what I need.
All right, we're hopping
And
into
we're ready.
DeLorean. We're hopping into DeLorean time machine. We're going
Here
back
we go.
to 1994. Okay, a great year nonetheless.
Absolutely.
We are in the spring of 1994, and the New York Knicks are in the finals for the first time in a long time. And the reason why they're in the finals is because one, Michael Jordan decided to retire.
Play baseball.
He played baseball, so he said, I'm not going to play basketball anymore. And he has been beating the Knicks for years, and we can never get to the finals. He retires that year. Boom, they make it.
Are you kidding? I didn't even.
So
I mean, I would never know this.
I'm
But
Uh,
that is crazy.
well, they were good. They were a good team. They were a good team. See,
They were
Michael,
always
Like
good.
you're saying he was holding them back?
Jordan held
no.
everyone back. The Sonics went to the finals versus Jordan, and he beat them, even though they had a great team.
Yep.
Like the
Let me
Jordan
just-
era was so
No.
dominant.
Let me just make a quick note. He held everyone back.
He did.
Everyone.
Like
No,
LeBron,
he
LeBron is good, but he never held anyone back. Anyone could still win the finals because he's only like what 4 of 10. Jordan, like 6 of 6. Like every time he went to the finals, he won, and there was never even a game 7.
Ever.
Like he was dominant. Like he just
Why did he suck so bad? I
That's-
don't understand that whole thing you just said. Like, what do you mean he was that bad?
He
How
was.
can you dominate a whole team to suck?
Did you watch The Last Dance?
What? The Last Dance?
You haven't watched The Last
You haven't watched
Dance?
it? You really haven't watched it.
I don't think so.
Do you know
Not-
who Michael
Not
Jordan is?
Save the Last Dance. Not Save the Last Dance.
Right.
Okay, I
Julia
thought you
Child.
said save the last dance. I was like,
Not Save the Last Dance.
The
Didn't
Last
win an
Dance.
Oscar. It didn't win an Oscar, but good movie.
It's
I was gonna
it's
say
about
Gary,
how
that can't be
dominant
your
Jordan
segue.
was.
The
If you
Last Dance.
Oh, the series. It was like a couple, it was on Netflix and it was like 7 different little
Yes.
miniature movies.
Yes.
Oh yeah. About Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, I watched that. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you said Save the Last Dance. And I was like, why are we talking about this stupid dance movie?
Because Julia Stiles is the Michael Jordan of 90s movies.
It actually is. That's it's so great.
10 things I hate about you.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. She is. Julia Child.
Classic. Classic.
Is. No, I did watch that, and actually, I thought that I did not realize how abrasive that he was. Like, I always thought that he was kind of just like a little humble guy, but just like
No.
filling it in the court. No, the dude was aggressive and
Yeah.
sassy as heck.
And won all the time.
Yeah.
Won constantly.
And there was
So-
that one part that the guy was like being real sassy to him and he just heard him say it. And then he like stalked him
Yeah.
around while they were like on the sidelines. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden he was like, he never did that to me again.
And he's
Yeah.
like, and I took that personally.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, Michael's tick.
Oh, side note, Terry Francona. This is not for Melissa, really, more for Jeremy. Terry
Let me look it up.
Francona
Let me look it up.
worked for the White Sox at the time, and he said if he would have figured out the breaking ball, he would have made it to the major leagues.
Whoa.
He was like, he was good. He wasn't enough to be in the majors, but
What
if he
does
could
that
figure out the
mean?
breaking ball,
Huh.
we're really getting in the weeds here because
Yeah, we're getting deep.
we were
We're
supposed to
getting-
talk about Jeremy almost burning his house down, but really, really fast in baseball, when
Yeah.
a guy pitches the ball,
His name is Tito. I mean, he's Tito.
yeah, when a guy
Terry Tito.
when a guy pitches the ball, his arm movement and his motion is the same, but the ball could be going almost 100 miles an hour or it could be going like 86 miles an hour. So a breaking ball is like a pitch that comes out the same way as a fastball, but it's slower and it has more movement. So that's why Jeremy was insinuating that baseball is really hard because you have a guy pitching a ball like 60 feet 6 inches away, and that ball could be going anywhere from like 80 to 100 miles an hour and move in 3 or 4 different directions.
So you're saying this is the pitcher you're speaking of.
The pitcher is throwing the ball
So
past.
that you're saying that the skill level has to be absurd because
Right.
the guy that's actually going to hit the ball with the bat, which is
Right.
called what?
The batter.
The batter is the one that's like, where's she going? Where is she going?
Mostly he, but yeah.
Mm.
And in reality, he only has about a quarter of a second
Yeah.
to decide whether or not he's going to swing or not.
Because the ball has to be between your chest and your knees, and it can only be within the width of the plate. So if the ball's a little out, it's a ball, you don't want to swing at it. But if it's within the plate
This
width
is what I mean.
between your chest and your knees, you could swing because it's going to be a strike.
We're going to hit you with, you know what?
I was going to
All
say,
right.
this is a
We're
lot
going to do some sports. We're
in the weeds. We're in
That's
the
another
weeds.
pod. That's another pod.
Let's get back to
So
yeah.
Jeremy's about to burn his house down because
right.
of
So the Knicks are in the
Falls
finals because Jordan's playing baseball. The Knicks are in the finals versus
And
the Rockets.
Ready.
versus the Rockets. And I was 10 years old,
Right.
1994, 10 years old.
Back to
And
the Bronx.
I am watching every single game. I am dialed in. Matter of fact, game 6, which is one of the craziest basketball games ever, I'm watching it with my dad and brother, and we are locked in. And all of a sudden, screen goes black. Man comes up and says, "We are now going to take you to Los Angeles, California,
Yeah.
where O.J. Simpson is in a car." And,
Yeah.
and I'm literally at 10 going, where's the game?
Yeah.
Dad's like, "Oh, let me check the channel." And literally changing the channel.
Stop it.
Every channel was OJ. It was in the middle of the
I'm not
finals.
shocked that it's because of OJ that this happened.
So this is what makes the level of craziness go to the fact of me burning my house down, because I'm obsessed with this team at this point. I'm 10 years old. I'm obsessed with this team.
Okay.
Game 6 was a must win for the Knicks. We're watching it. All of a sudden in the middle, everything goes to OJ. Back then, no phones.
Mhm.
No phones. I couldn't run to the radio.
It's no internet. There's no nothing.
There's nothing. You literally were stuck. I had
You're
no
missing
idea.
the whole game because of the murderer OJ.
Now I'm at this time 3,000 miles away, loving that now I get to watch the game and also OJ in the back of a white Bronco because I don't like the Knicks at the time.
Okay,
Or
so
the
Jake
Rockets.
actually was watching and he was like,
Oh, this is great.
hooah.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
there was
wow.
no more.
I was with my dad. We were watching the game and
Okay.
it cuts. And then it was like a split screen, but it was like not half and half like they would do now. It was like 2 screens kind of like off-centered. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Jake was one of those rich kids that was like, oh, no, dude.
No.
Later on, no, this was later on because maybe most of the game they weren't showing. And then eventually they started to show it because people were literally going, there's a New York basketball team in the finals. Like there's millions of people trying to watch this game.
Okay.
Long story short, Knicks win that game and no one ever sees the game. It's actually, there's a documentary called like one of the best games no one's ever saw.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because
watching
it
that.
is about a game that in America, I mean, was a big basketball game, but OJ kind of made that come to this,
What's it called?
Oh, I will get the exact name for it.
Is it the 30 for 30 with just that date? It was like that day.
Yeah,
I
I
love
think
the
it might
30
be
for 30s. I love those. I've seen all of them. So if it was on that, maybe I just didn't make the connection.
So I'm gonna find it. I'm definitely gonna find
Best
it.
game no one ever saw. I'm just gonna, a quick
If you
Google.
type in Knicks OJ 94,
During 1985 game between young Los Angeles Express and
no, that
Calvin
No.
City. Wrong?
I think no one ever saw that one game because
No one cares.
no
So
one
you're
could.
telling me that's not it?
No. But long story short, because
Okay, wow.
game
Turn
7
down, turn
comes
down.
and all right, OJ's caught.
Okay.
Game 7 comes and now we're watching the game.
Okay.
Knicks win game 6. Now it's winner takes all, game 7. Here it is. And they poop the bed.
Which means in baseball terms,
Basketball terms.
which
They
means in basketball.
they did not play very well.
In
Okay,
baseball terms,
okay.
they grounded into a double play in the
In
bottom of the
basketball-
ninth.
In basketball terms, they kept jacking up shots and missing all of them. It was just it was a bad game. And I don't know if it was in their head. I don't know if it was
You
like
mean because of the
pressure.
OJ thing? Because of OJ, they couldn't play good?
Who knows at this point? But all I know is as a 10-year-old,
I'm theorizing.
I was devastated.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
What'd you do? What'd you do at this point?
I was an avid basketball fan. I used to collect basketball cards, and I had every player on every team in a 3-ring binder that was 5 inches thick, all set in plastic. I ran to my room. I opened up my binder and I found the Houston Rocket section that I had for that team.
So what do you got? You're talking like Vernon Maxwell,
Hakeem
Olajuwon,
Sam Cassell.
Sam Cassell.
Yep.
Sam Cassell.
Robert Horry.
Oh, Horry.
I just can't right now. Kenny the Jet Smith.
Yeah, Kenny Smith.
That was the starting 5.
Right. So you laid him out. You laid him out on the windowsill, right?
I laid him out on the windowsill and I took a match and I started lighting each one on fire, crying, bawling my eyes out at 10, just lighting basketball cards on fire.
Have you heard this before?
Now, some cards are like normal basketball cards, and some of them, you can get like those hologram,
glossy, upper deck,
glossy, like lacquered up with flammable material. I don't know, So there was this Vernon Maxwell super hologram ultra fleer. This thing was a beast.
Don't do
I
it.
lit it. And that thing went up like hellfire damnation. I don't even know what to say. It took off, okay? Literally lit the drapes up. Lit. And it got, you know what? Back in the day, the term, it's lit. That was my room.
Okay. You said, I opened the window. I knew right then. I was like, oh my God. He's that upset. He's a young man.
I literally am like trying to like beat the fire out, and it is burning the drapes, and it's burning on my wall. So I got it.
Mind you, the wall filled with asbestos.
Yeah.
Riddled in cancer.
Look, I got it. I stopped it.
Yeah, you stopped it.
We're good.
Your dad downstairs, just like he's done it.
Yeah, no one knows. No one knows anything yet. So now 10-year-old Jeremy's like, I'm gonna have to lie.
Yeah.
Forever. Because I don't understand what to do here.
You're like, yeah.
I kept my mom out of that room for like 3 weeks, but eventually she found out, and I was grounded for the rest of the year. So yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's what I did. Yeah, basketball is kind of my thing. Yeah, that's
so yeah. Moral of the story: if you love basketball, it's gonna let you down. If you love baseball, they may, but it's a better odds. Football, that's just for all the men in the world.
I mean, I like football. I think football's great.
Yeah.
Football's great, baseball's
I
great. I'm a Yankee fan.
maybe
I've
love
seen.
that story more than I've heard so many good stories in my life. That is one of my favorite stories I've ever heard.
Good
When
story.
you said, okay, I think that my favorite part was when you opened the window, but actually my favorite part was when you said that you took them out and that you lined them up. Almost as if they were on a firing squad.
I can see it right now. I literally was crying, like
Stop
bawling
it.
and lining them up. Like I'm burning these cards.
Also, when you started talking about the team and you just said it like you said it very like passively, like own the team, da da da. And then Jake goes, so and so and so and so. And you were like, there's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you started going,
them.
so and so and so and so, and then this guy. And remember him? Like the angst really took over
Oh,
again.
it's real. This is
As
a
if
It's a
you
real
were again
feeling.
that small 10-year-old Italian boy in the Bronx. It was there again.
This is visceral. This is for
Visceral.
real. This is real
Your
dislike.
mom never made Cavatini again. It was over at that time.
She was.
Like, I
Oh,
can't.
you know another good story to tell? You don't have to tell it tonight, but why you guys moved from the Bronx to Warwick?
Oh yeah, there's plenty. Yeah, there's plenty. There's
I mean, at this point, I'm ready for more stories from Jared. I have
There's
no
stories.
idea.
I think you should talk about the Oscars.
Okay. Chelsea thinks we should talk about the Oscars.
I agree. We could do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. I have it pulled up.
So we'll leave
Because
that.
I've got so many things I need to say about Killian Murphy. I've got so many things.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And we have to say about Killian, and we have to talk about how I thought it was Cillian. So for the longest time, I thought it was Cillian. So yeah,
That's gonna. We're not gonna cut that part.
No, that part needs to stay.
We're gonna. I'm gonna edit this in a great way where we totally
Okay.
shift gears. We address that we totally.
Yeah. Okay.
shift
So
gears,
all right. So
But then we're
Jeremy,
gonna
you
cut out
act
some
like
of
you're
this jibber
finishing-
jabber.
Yeah, you act like you're finishing your story. Be like, yeah, so that's why, da da da.
yeah.
And then
Oh
we'll-
yeah, we'll say
transit-
like we'll save it for another time, and right now say like, and that's
Yeah.
why we moved to Warwick.
Oh.
No, like say that right now.
Oh. And that's why we moved to Warwick.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh man, that's gonna be
Wow.
on our Patreon.
Triana.
I almost made Melissa spit out her wine.
You said it at the perfect time.
All right, we're gonna save that story because that's a great story too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
Now
the reason why we gathered
we're
together
together today.
is to talk about the Oscars.
Okay.
I have my thoughts on the Oscars, and maybe they're a little contrarian to your guys's.
Oh dear.
So
Oh, where do we begin?
what is like let's start with Melissa. What is your overall feeling about the Oscars this year?
I felt like Killian. I felt like Killian Murphy was he's one of my favorite people. I'm not even gonna say celebrities because I don't care about celebrities anymore. They're stupid.
Mm.
But I do feel like finally, maybe we are getting over the Barbie trend, right? I get it. We were in the Barbieville. I loved it for the moment, but now it's almost like I feel like Margot Robbie needed to get out of it. Like, okay, we get it. Let's move on. Margot Robbie, let's go. There was never as much talk, and I realize it doesn't matter, about her being the ice skater girl. That's a whole other subject I'm not going to go into right now. But I feel like Cillian Murphy was so like genuine, and like him talking about how like this award is for all the peacemakers out there, and that's really like he's like, I think he has such a very grounded way of looking at things for where he is in life as far as like celebrities, and you just won an Oscar. And his whole speech was just so much like, yes, of course I appreciate this, but like clearly this needs to go to the peacemakers because he was just in this movie about the atomic bomb. So he recognizes like the validity of it, but he also, I think, was very respectful as far as like we right now in our time frame are living through horrible wars. So I felt like that was really nice. And then if you want to discuss the clothing articles, allow me. Ariana Grande wore the worst dress I've ever seen to the Oscars. It looked like you were trying to blow a bubble with bubble gum and you were 1.5 years old and you just were learning.
And it just
You
stopped.
just were learning.
And it just stopped.
The meme that I saw, it was it said when you bring the comforter out from your bed to the living room. And it was just her walking down the aisle.
There are so many of those.
Yeah.
As an example, Emily Blunt. I love her. I think she's a great actress. I loved her in all those movies.
And then, but her like
Head and
thing.
Shoulders, though.
Yeah, that was I originally I thought it was like a mistake, and then I realized, oh no, that's the
That's
style.
part of it.
Like it was like her show. Like I was like,
Me too. I was like,
feel
oh, I
that
guess
heat.
they're just taking weird pictures where it's like under so you can see.
So
No.
without getting too far away from the Oscars, I just also want to approach fashion is getting out of control.
It's
And I
always
know
Been out of
this is like
control.
this is where like you want to show your fashion and you know everyone's dressing elegant, but you can tell that like some of the dresses are like that's classy and you look
yes.
good. Sometimes you get these nice elegant dresses, they're classy.
They're like, I recognize the assignment. I'm going. I'm
Yes.
classy. Yeah.
But then they look crazy. Some of them you're like you look a little crazy. You look
Yeah.
like a crazy person. Like no one would ever wear that out of this, and you can't even walk or you can't, it just doesn't look right. So fashion was a little weird, but I mean,
Yeah.
I do appreciate that the Oscars are, like the time to come out and show your
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I get what you were saying about kind of the whole. Well, this whole thing was the whole, Oppenheimer Barbie thing, right? They call it Barbieheimer kind of thing. That was the whole.
Yeah.
And I will say that the whole hubbub of like Margot Robbie not being nominated was a thing.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, like that was
That was
pretty
shady.
much the #1 movie, and
Yeah.
it was the talk of the town, and it pretty much brought people back to the theaters because no one was going to movies,
100% agree.
and they're like,
Not even to be
Yeah.
nominated seemed like a little sketchy.
which was kind of like, and then the movies that were nominated, you were like, really?
What?
Okay, just because it's a comedy slash,
Psychotic thriller.
yeah, it's literally just because it's PG-13 doesn't mean it can't be nominated. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Right.
get it. So I appreciated her like being there and
Yeah.
still being like supportive because
Yeah.
part of you would be like, you know what? I don't
Screw
even
you
want to
guys.
be here because it's ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous her not getting nominated, at least.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, you should have been nominated for it.
Oh,
It was a good
absolutely.
movie.
She should have been
They were
nominated.
they were like, pawning over
Ryan.
over Ryan. They love him. He had his performance, which was funny and stuff. But you're like, guys, like it was
Yeah.
her movie. It just was
I
weird.
did love those videos that showed Ryan Gosling whenever they announced like all of it, and just how everybody was kind of like talking about like his face even whenever it got announced. Like he just was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
I felt like that was very telling. And also, if Ryan Gosling, like if I didn't win an award, picture me, Margot Robbie. If I didn't even win an award, but Ryan Gosling was on national television being like, why didn't my girl get an award? That would be all the award that I needed personally.
Exactly.
However, like for him to even be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Right? Was kind of at least something.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm glad that she was there, and I'm glad that she was
Yes.
like, all right, let me hit this. I mean, it is kind of interesting that like the Barbie movie was about, girl power and power to the women.
And then they're like, no.
And then they're like, no, like literally the big corporation is like, no, we're just going to the side.
It's almost like, are you doing this on purpose?
It's like, really?
Are you trying to cause like actual mayhem in society over women?
It was interesting. So
It was.
that brought a little bit more oomph to it. But
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely like Killian. I mean, okay,
Oh,
deserved it. I think obviously you kind of knew Best Picture. I
yeah,
was like, yeah, it's probably going to end up going Oppenheimer. I mean,
yeah,
you have Nolan, who all he does is just make ridiculous movies,
yeah, yeah.
and that's just his thing. So he hasn't. I don't think he's won anything. I don't think he's ever won.
Right. I
He's
don't
never.
know.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever won Best Picture.
You better believe we can Google it. You better believe we can Google it.
Yeah, because I mean, you have. I mean, obviously the Batman, but that's not going to win anything. But you had Tenet, which was incredible. You have Inception.
Was
You know,
Tenet incredible?
Incept
I
what?
liked it. I
What?
still don't understand it, but I like it.
What? What are you talking about? What did you say, Jake? I couldn't hear you.
I said, was Tenet incredible?
I don't know if I saw Tenet,
Ooh.
Don't.
It's a lot.
but,
No, I'm not saying
but I
that.
did
It's
watch
just,
Inception, and it is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
I
Inception's
thought
really, really good.
Inception was incredible. I thought it was mind twisting in the best way, where you could imagine that being a real life in 20 years, now even. I don't
Yeah.
know. Now, I will say, back to the close, a pardonnez-moi. Ariana Grande sucked. Also, stop breaking up everybody's marriages. Moving on.
Ooh, ooh,
I'm
ooh,
not
I
even
don't know
gonna
about
get into
that.
that.
ooh, yeah, ooh,
I
yeah.
don't know
That
about
was
that.
going big.
I thought she seemed like really weird. Like she was like spaced
She
out.
is
Or just,
weird.
oh yeah, but she
She
just
is
seemed like
weird.
super
Part
goofy.
of me, yeah, like this is the Oscars. Like I get it that you were in it. Like don't have a lot of music. Like I know that there's music involved, but this is really the
Right,
actors. Like you have the Grammys.
right.
You guys have your time.
Yeah.
Just be there if you're invited and stuff. Just I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
Can I like not rant, but just say my piece a little bit on the Oscars? A little.
yeah. Go. Oh, one more thing.
I mean,
I thought Robert Downey Jr.
I'm waiting over here to talk about Heidi Klum. So
Oh, I thought Robert Downey Jr. was great. Also, by the way, and I
amazing.
thought that
Amazing.
it was
Amazing.
like okay, you know what? It's about time. He's
Thank
at least
goodness that's
recognized
yes,
as a good actor, but also awkward
100%.
that he was being made fun of his drug
Yes.
use problems when he was having like that whole
Yeah.
situation.
I love that.
Weird, awkward. I was like, oh, this is a little. Is he
Too
joking?
much,
Yeah,
but I love that too.
little
Okay,
weird.
Jake, you have the floor.
Uh,
Jake.
I didn't think Jimmy Kimmel was funny. I didn't.
I wanted him to be so hilarious.
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
I think every late night guy has gotten so political and so far up their own butts
But
that they're
Tooties.
not funny anymore.
Yeah.
I think I do know, like from listening to other podcasts, that he's friends with Downey, but I didn't like those. The jokes seemed a little too like mean spirited, but maybe they're friends and that's how they were. That's how they are with each other. Because
But
I
it
feel like
was almost like a little too pointed.
but I've always said, like, I've always told Jeremy, like, if we were both athletes or something,
You make fun of him.
I would cause so much havoc in the press just for fun. So
Oh,
I get that maybe I
much
don't know that
rhetoric.
dynamic.
We would have like this relationship that we dislike each other and be like best
Best
behind
we'd like,
and the cameras be like at it and it would be great.
I would destroy him and then we'd like be out to dinner that night and people would be like, I thought you guys hate each other. I'd be like,
yeah, we do. What?
And Jake means destroy you, not actually in the sport thing. Like whatever sport you two are playing.
Jake is very
sportsy.
Yes, we'll talk about that too. We have plenty.
We'll talk about that another time.
I think that Hollywood more or less is gross, and I think we probably
I think we can all attest to that. Yeah,
and
it's very self-aggrandizing, and it's a very like, But the reason, like, the thing that I thought about that night and that I texted you guys about was that like artists are artists, like they're kind of weird, like they're just kooky.
They're all kind of narcissistic.
They're narcissistic, so it's like you can't sometimes have good art without a bunch of weirdos doing it.
That's true.
That is true.
It's like a little bit like everyone's just fawning over Emma Stone, who you might like for a million other reasons, but like I just like IMDb'd the movie because I'd never heard
Oh,
of it, and I'm like, oh my god,
oh,
it's
the
just
It's crazy.
it's like just it
the
sounded
Netflix one.
no,
Yeah,
the one that she is it on Netflix?
uh,
Whatever the
it's on like it's either Netflix or Hulu. It's out right now. You
but
can watch
it's just
Yeah.
it.
like
You can
No,
just
you
go
don't want to
watch.
watch it.
she wins an Oscar and everyone's just fawning over her, and then I look up what the movie is and I'm like, that's like so it's like
Yeah, I didn't love that
it's kind of
premise.
it's just a gross industry with kind of gross people, but
People.
also they're artsy people and artsy
Which is
weird.
yeah.
To be honest
This
with you, I've never really gotten the hype with, there's very few people that I will not give credit to. Cut to me and all like other podcasts and you guys like copy pasting all me like ripping people to shreds. But I do feel like it's very rare that I will not give credit where credit is due as far as like an artistic thing. And Emma Stone, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I
Ooh.
know I am. I'm going to.
Remember La La
The
Land.
movie-
Remember La La Land.
okay, wait, let me say something about La La Land, which I've never seen.
Oh,
Is it
I fell
basically
asleep.
is
I
it
fell
basically
asleep.
like white people explaining jazz to black people? Because that's what it seems like. I've never seen it, but that's my impression. It's like, let's make a movie with a good looking white guy to explain jazz to black people, or to just like basically dumb down jazz to people. I might be
When I
wrong.
tell
I've
you
never
I
seen
fell
it.
asleep
I
every time I tried to watch it, I
Snoring.
fell asleep.
Yeah.
I will say this. As someone that does not like romantic movies like that.
You mean where
Um,
they're singing in the streets immediately?
I mean, if you're gonna sing in the streets, you better be half Spanish, West Side Story, and there better be a knife fight in the middle of it. But that's another thing
That's
for
a
another
whole other episode.
time.
No.
So,
We've
but
created like 5 episodes out of this episode.
but I'm
No, but for real.
just saying, like Jake, you're correct. You're correct on kind of. I see what you mean with the whole La La Land situation. I get that, and I understand what you're saying, Melissa, about Emma Stone. I kind of agree too because you go from La La Land, which was like, it won. I think it also was nominated for Best Picture, and she won.
Oh, that was
Best
the year Warren
Actress.
Beatty announced them as the winner. They all went
Yeah.
up on stage,
And then it was freaking not right.
and the guy was like, "No, it's Moonlight." And
Yes,
yeah.
that's
Oh.
That was
right.
that awkward
Oh,
moment.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Here's
So
here's
Also, not to
real
mention the
quick.
fact that
Real quick. Warren Beatty was an old man up on stage announcing Best Picture, and it didn't go well.
Well-
And then what happens this year? A bumbling Al Pacino walks up on
Idiot.
stage,
bumbling.
and it's like 85 years old with a newborn, by the way. Look
Yeah.
that up.
Awkward.
Yeah, look it up.
are
Yeah.
you kidding?
No. It's just like, oh, here we are. I better look at
Who's
the
that?
envelope, Oppenheimer, and it's like that's the biggest award of the night, and you just kind of like,
Yeah. And I actually, a split second was like, is it actually Oppenheimer or did he
Did
make
he
a
screw it
mistake?
up?
Because I'm like, I don't know. Because you could see that he was holding like what to say and then open it.
yeah,
And it was another thing that drove me crazy is every time they opened it, you would think they were going to open it and then open the bottom, but it only opened one way, and then they had to pull. It was awkward. I'm telling you, if you rewatch it, you're like, yeah, something's a little
Okay,
awkward.
so what you're saying is that we need Jeremy to design the stationery for the
Right.
Oscars
what
next
kind
year.
of
Or-
stationery are they
or-
Yeah.
messing with?
Just give them the card. Just give them the card. They already know the winner. They walk up and they do their little spiel, and
I
then
do
they
feel
say the
like
winner.
that's I do feel like that's true. I
So
do feel like that's true.
The one cool thing I thought this year that they did for the big awards, they brought out 5 of the last winners, and they all spoke about each individual person, which again, going back to what Jake was saying about pawning over each other, which I get, which was
Yeah.
some of them were a little too much, but I thought it was cool to be like, oh wow, look, these are all other winners as well too.
Yeah.
But part of me at the same time, you're like, well, see, I think of acting, I look at the movie and I see how that like affects me as like the actor. So
Yeah.
sometimes some of the movies, I'm like, man, like this should totally win because it was a
Right.
powerful movie, and it doesn't. Or this person should win for acting because of what they like did. I actually think, Cillian Murphy did that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he was a little bit more of a powerful role, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen Poor, and I'm not going to see Poor Things, but I'm saying like you said, just reading about a robot, like she's like, I don't know. It just kind of sounds like she was if they redid Edward Scissorhands, and it was
I
like,
felt like it was a
like,
modern day
or
Edward Scissorhands where the woman was Edward Scissorhands. And I understand all the things, how hard it is to act like you're not a human when you're a human, but you're a built human. Like I get all the things. But I just feel like for Emma Stone, I have never understood the obsession with all of it. You know what I mean? Even what she wore a peplum dress.
What's
that broke. Remember it
Oh,
broke?
that broke. Yeah, the back.
And
broke.
of course, I'm sorry, Louis Vuitton, but that broke. But the fact that you wore a dress that had no one has worn that style skirt, Chelsea, back me up,
She said true.
since 2006.
I don't
Maybe
get what
that's
you're
coming
talking
back
about.
though. I don't know. Like,
Oh, allow me to, okay, hold on.
see, that's what's so funny about, I think, the guys all just wear tuxes. Unless you're The Rock, then you just kind of wear like this shirt and like, you're like, oh yeah, I'm the man.
Yeah.
Or unless you're John Cena and you're actually naked.
Now that I thought
That
was so
weird. It's like, I think what's
like,
weird about Hollywood is like everyone is like, Hollywood's gross, and then they're like, no, we're not, and then they just do a bunch of like gross stuff. all the
it is
time.
weird. Then they do a bunch of gross
I thought
stuff.
it was like, oh, this is a funny little skit. Ha ha ha. He probably is wearing underwear on. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh
No.
He didn't.
no, he actually was naked.
So this is Emma Stone's dress.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but what's that?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Is this something that you've seen?
It looks like a tutu. Like she put a tutu on.
She
Yeah,
looks like
this is something that you've seen at a meeting
form-fitting
with like
dress.
a woman randomly. I don't know.
I mean,
I
well, we thought Margot Robbie was the most
You know what
elegant
she
because,
dressed? I like it. Yeah.
and then and we thought
Margot Robbie
Emily
wore
Blunt
that
was
almost
very
like,
elegant.
yeah.
You
Also,
know, she's a
Margot Robbie wore that kind of like bathing suit style gold thing that was from the 90s fashion show. But I will say I did love Margot Robbie's look. I thought it was very cool. Oh, it was Mugler. It was Mugler. That's who it was. It was a vintage Mugler from the 1996 line. That's what it was. So the original was this girl that wore it, like down the runway wore it, like a bathing suit almost. And I'm not gonna lie, I am okay with it. I know it might seem a bit aggressive. You can't tell, but I thought it was very beautiful.
Mm.
Do I think that it was worth the Oscars? No, but you had Heidi Klum who was wearing basically tinfoil wrapped around her entire body,
I
showing.
mean,
I didn't see her. Is she relevant, or does she just kind of like hang around?
I think she tries to be relevant still because she was
is she still with Seal?
I don't think so.
no one knows.
She's a
Oh,
judge on.
it was cool to see Slash with Gosling.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. I
He-
thought
he
they did a
like
good job.
Chelsea looked it up. It was like the Material Girl Madonna
Yeah,
thing with like the red steps and the men with the thing. So
I thought that was cool.
Okay.
I thought bringing out the other cast of the movie, all those guys, that was cool to see them too out there dancing with them.
yeah.
I thought
when-
Billie Eilish's performance was a little
Oh my
interesting.
Oh, very interesting. I did
I
like that.
thought like I was like, is she losing her voice or is
No,
she
it's
just
everything she sings. She
Wow.
whispers everything.
She's
It's like a whisper singer. It's like she's like
different.
she's singing to you, but she doesn't want to wake you up.
Now, how do we feel? How do we feel about? Okay, that was a good joke,
Thank you.
but I don't. I have to move on. How do we feel about the consistency of Zendaya's outfits being wildly like? I feel like she is art. If you want to put art and clothes together, she does it. But at the same time, I'm like, what do we think? What do we think? I'm just curious. Don't be shy. If you
I
hate
don't
it,
remember what she wore.
Well, I think
she wore the robot outfit for the Dune premiere.
Zendaya, I actually think
Okay.
is probably going to be the next
Mega star.
yeah. She's like a one namer. You know, she is slowly
Cher.
going to be the biggest, like she's gonna be in like a ton of movies. It's just
Yeah.
gonna she's
No,
gonna
she's gonna blow up.
explode.
She's gonna blow up. She's
Mhm.
already blowing up. What am I talking about? She's already blowing up.
And I think because of her build as very model-esque, like
Yeah.
skinny,
Yeah.
I think they're just throwing whatever they want to try, and they're like, it's Zendaya. She'll put it on, and it's gonna
Yeah.
sell,
But
and it's
she
gonna blow
does.
up, and it's
She
gonna
kills
sell.
it. Yeah, she kills it. Every look she puts on, she kills it.
In reality, the Oscars were three things. It was Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and then it was this what was it? I'm looking it up right now. Wait, what was the one that I had no idea about?
Okay.
Anatomy of the Fall. That was like
Oh,
nominated for
yeah.
everything, and it's like an
I
English
Oh,
movie.
want
and
to
then
see that.
I'm like, it's
and
an
then
English movie.
also Melissa talked about it a while ago. Zone of Interest that came up a lot too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zone of Interest.
Oh, I
Yes.
cannot. I will see that movie.
And some of these are books, I think. Some
Yeah.
of, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, but
Uh,
it,
John Mulaney had the best of the night. The best part of the night was him, for sure.
he did a great job. And
His his breakdown of Field of Dreams for no reason, and
Oh
then
my
saying
God.
that should win Best Picture, but you'll probably pick one of the nominees tonight. Was just like the best part of the night.
Okay, you know what? I love John Mulaney. Again, this could be a whole other song.
Oh yeah, we could do a whole Mulaney episode.
Yeah, I love John Mulaney. Like when I first heard about John Mulaney, I listened to his comedy. I was like, you are definitely, I'm not gonna say the way that Jenna and I phrase this term, but it's basically like when someone is up, when someone knows your humor so well that your humor, they're just right there. I'm not gonna say it on national television, but um John Mulaney to me was that when he was doing his stand up, I was like, this is the funniest comedian I've ever heard. He says,
But also, there's not one there's not one comedian that's a normal person. They're all super flawed, crazy.
no, I feel like they
Yeah.
are super
And
messed up.
when like he would wear a suit and Pete Davidson would wear like a hoodie, they were like, what are those two people doing together? But then it turns out John Mulaney is way more messed up than Pete Davidson.
like, I don't know about way, but yeah.
Went the
All in all, I thought that that the Oscars, you know, wanted to show the big movies, wanted to kind of bring people back to going to the theater. They kind of wanted to make it more of an excitement again. So I think we'll see if it'll kind of get back to that next year or something like that. But it was okay. I enjoyed it. We watched all of it.
I do
Melissa,
think I watch it.
Melissa, final
Yeah.
thoughts. Final
Okay,
thoughts.
final thoughts are I do agree with Jeremy. I feel like the going to the theater, getting a bag of popcorn, like it's a very lost entertainment type of thing that people need to get back into, and that this past season, let's say, has made people want to pursue it more. Like, let's go back to like when someone would actually go to a theater and sit down and enjoy a movie because everything is so Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, Apple, like let's not do that anymore. Let's actually go to a movie theater and watch people that have worked for a year plus, 3 years plus to make a movie. Let's give them what they're owed. And I do think that I love that. And I think that goes to with what we were also going to talk about art. I love that people used to make a decision in an afternoon or an evening to go watch a movie.
Yeah.
I felt like it's an old pastime at this point where like no one goes to the theater to watch a movie they want to see. And I do love that. I want to go back to being like, let's go watch this movie. It's exciting, it's thrilling. You sit down, you're focused, you're not on your phone. So I do think that is something amazing. And if they are trying to get back to it, I'm in agreement with it. I just wish that Ariana Grande would have not worn a dress that looked like bubblegum from a 2-year-old.
And
And
that was dope.
did not wear tinfoil wrapped around her body precariously. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I think that
You love John Mulaney, and I hate you.
no, I'll say I agree that movies are a great pastime. I love movies.
Yeah.
Uh,
love
it is a very nostalgic thing, but it's also something that's been around for a long time, and I like it. Hollywood is gross and it's full of narcissists, but
Yes.
they also make the movies. So I don't
That's true.
particularly care for any of them, but I also appreciate what they do.
That's very true.
So
I'll
Jeremy,
drink to that.
what's a song? What's a song you want to put? Let's
All
wrap
right,
this up.
here we go.
Listen, this pod.
This has been a roller coaster.
Yeah,
I'm very emotionally distraught right now.
I'm just gonna say that right now, the song I'm listening to this song at least 3 times a day. Right now, I don't care. It's
Okay.
my feeling, and I don't care. Okay.
Okay.
But
What is it? What is it? What is
Justin
it?
Timberlake "Selfish" is the bomb, and if you haven't heard it yet, anyone that's listening to this pod, put it
It's
on right
such
now.
a bop.
If you haven't heard it, please put it on because it is. And he's coming out with a new album in like a month or two, and I'm really excited about it because we haven't had a male R&B artist in a while. So
It's so good.
Melissa, what do you got?
Yeah, I think everyone knows the song already, but I just feel like people know it and they're like, oh, that's a cool song, but they don't actually know who it is. Now, I'm not saying that, oh, I know who it is. I'm saying I heard it and I was like, oh, I've heard this at parties so many times that I love this song. Dancing by Neil Francis.
All right.
Don't mess.
shout
Okay,
out.
so the
Shout out,
next
Austin.
song is going to be El amor dice ciao. That's what it is.
All right.
El amor dice ciao.
So yeah, so it's a L apostrophe AMORE DICE and then ciao.
All right. Sounds good.
That's it.
Okay.
I love those
I'm
two.
gonna go a Billie Eilish song, but not by her.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna do the
Ooh.
Interrupters. The Interrupters do Bad Guy, and it's really good.
Oh, I have to listen to it now. That sounds awesome.
And they don't whisper it, so it's good.
Do
and
you
then-
not like the whispering? I'm taking it.
No, it's just like funny that she's so popular, and then you listen to her sing, and she's like, sounds like she's like whispering into the mic.
Yeah, but like you try to sing like I don't know. You try to sing at what is it?
Octave.
The octave. The
Oh.
octane.
Yeah.
Just kidding. You try to sing at it. I'm not kidding you. I feel like I've tried. I feel like you can't do it.
All right. But I'm gonna go with that one, and then "Fear Not of Man" by Mos Def.
Oh,
have a lot of-
my
We don't have a
God.
lot of hip hop on the.
we
You
don't.
said
on
we
the-
don't have a lot of hip-hop?
You know
We
what?
don't have a
That's
lot of
very
hip-hop.
true. I will.
And I
next
think
time-
it's I think it's a good song because he talks about like the state of hip hop, and like it's in the late '90s, but it's as pertinent today as it was in 1999 when he made it. So
I love Mos Def.
Okay. I want,
He's good.
yeah, I was gonna say, are you
Let's see
saying
what-
that you want more hip hop on the pod?
I just feel like if there's a song that feels
Yeah,
like it suits it, then we should do it.
I agree.
I mean, I've got hip hop coming out my ears.
All right, we'll bring it next week. Bring the hip hop next week.
Okay, let's do hip hop next week.
All right, so to wrap this up,
Well-
we started like 5 new pods.
We didn't really talk about the Oscars that much, and we definitely
did.
talked
Yeah.
about art.
Jeremy, but we didn't talk about art, but we have in the back burner the story of Jeremy moving to Warwick. We've
Yes.
got a whole pod about John Mulaney, which is going to be contentious. We have a whole pod about sports. We have a whole pod about we had another one about who was the other person that we could
Okay, so then we were talking about the Oscars and people. John, no, you said John Mulaney.
Yeah, that was.
but needless to say, we still have a lot to talk about.
Needless to say,
So, but at this point, I'd rather close my face in this laptop than talk to you guys any longer. And I think Chelsea might kill me.
I
for-
think Chelsea actually is here at my house outside, setting it on fire the way that Jeremy
Your-
sets cars on fire.
Your car is currently on fire from Chelsea, who, in the length of this podcast, was able to drive to West
Oh.
Virginia to light your car
Yeah.
on fire.
It's bad.
Until next
So
time.
anyways,
Until next time.
until next time, I'm gonna go ahead and stick my hand in some boiling oil.
All right.
Love you all.
Love you all.